why you're here. You want to ask me a question. What is the jank? No one can tell you what the jank is. You need to see it for yourself.
Welcome to the Jank Tank. This is a show where we explore the clunky games that I adore. Today we're talking about Enter the Matrix, released for the OG Xbox, PlayStation 2, GameCube, and PC. To preface this video, since it's our first episode, I want to take a deep dive into games that we as a community consider to be buggy or bad, but I have a personal respect for. Maybe you have a game that instantly comes to mind. We have these games that we carry a nostalgic connection to, and we remember having fun with them, yet once critics or the internet comments section enters the picture, our cherished game is written off as bad. I say that it's time to explore what we adore about these games too, because at the end of the day, video games are mainly made for children, and when we played them as Rugrats, we weren't concerned with game design fundamentals and shit. We just had simple fun, or at least I did. If you think that this show idea is promising and you'd like to see more, please like, subscribe, and follow me down the rabbit hole.
Welcome to the Jank Tank.
Released in May 2003, Enter the Matrix is a spin-off game roughly taking place during The Matrix Reloaded. You play as Captain Niobe, played by Jada Pinkett Smith, Morpheus' secret honey bunny, and her partner Ghost, played by Anthony Wong, who is trapped in the friend zone.
When are we gonna find you a girlfriend?
These characters were introduced in the aforementioned movie and play a critical role in the story. This game is so connected to the movies that the big cutscenes feature real 35mm footage that the Wachowskis concocted specifically for this spin-off. That's dedication to your craft. It's a clever way to use your deleted scenes and add more depth to supporting characters. In my opinion, these cutscenes are your reward for getting through the game. More Matrix film. Obviously, we're here because the game is janky. Make no mistake. This is far from a polished product, but I love it. I replayed the entire game with both characters after 20 years to see how it holds up now and report my findings to you. Let's just get this out of the way. Ghost by far has the most bang for your buck in terms of fun between the two characters. For one, his missions are more arcadey because you're the gunner, which is sick. Driving as Niobe isn't very fluid, and you need to hold a button for Ghost to start blasting fools. Not fun. Who wants to focus on traffic? I feel Ghost's pacing is better in most levels, and he has an exclusive level where you fight Trinity. On the character selection screen, they even have Ghost already selected for you, as if to say, yep, this is the scenario you want, play this guy. Though this game suffers from repetition universally, Niobe's playthrough still gets the shit end of the stick, as they just felt like they dragged and got old quickly, which is interesting to me because I sometimes see people complaining about Ghost as a one-dimensional boring character, but I completely disagree. He has cooler conversations and comes off as a student of the Wachowskis' philosophical ramblings.
Belief is beyond reason. I believe because it is absurd.
He's kinda like a badass monk. The destination arrow is one thing that does piss me off on occasion because it mostly shows itself only for obvious routes and turtles itself in parts you're more likely to get stuck in. This is only really an issue though for a first playthrough, but still, it's annoying at first. In a couple locations, the enemy spawn points were just weird. In the set of stairs in the bowels level, enemies keep spawning after I kill a bunch because I stood in the wrong location, or at least I think that's the case. If you run right over there though, crossing some of the arbitrary boundary, and if you kill those guys, then there's no more immediate spawns. Weird. It also seems as though sometimes enemies will just respawn indefinitely with ambiguous reliability. For the most part, this doesn't affect you much if you're booking it, but just thought it was interesting. You want to talk about bullshit though? Some real duty? Fall damage, in my opinion, is the most unfair aspect of this game. It makes absolutely no sense how the game decides how high is too high, and with a game where you're expected to do cool Matrix shit, I am capped at how epic my interactions can be. It doesn't make sense that Trinity can jump from a building to building through windows, but Ghost can't jump off this platform the size of a shed. The game would be a lot more fun if you could get away with more. Speaking of duty, there are technically no checkpoints. Well, there are, but there aren't. The level you're playing is the checkpoint of the overall act, a level within a level. So if you die at any point, you have to start the whole mission over again. This really sucks in some instances, but other levels are hardly a minute long. So your mileage here may vary, but I thought it sucked. Any difficulty higher than easy mode, in my opinion, makes this the Dark Souls of the Matrix games. It's too hard. So after getting a good way through an intense level and you die of some nonsense, it really kills my momentum since I have to do everything all over again. Also, look at this. What is this? And this! What's going on here? What's going on? Some of this janky shit I didn't even know if I could replicate, so I scrambled to take my phone and record this glitch in the Matrix. All I did was shoot these guys. I think one of them was climbing down a ladder, the other one just decided to transcend upon death. Even the music has some jank. Of course we get legendary tracks new and old, but the timing of certain music cues can feel a bit odd. The agent chase sequences in particular aren't as exciting as they could have been because the music decides to randomly end mid-chase, which consequently lightens the tension if not killing it entirely. The agents were definitely scarier as a youngin'. Even if it isn't used to its fullest potential, the soundtrack is excellent. The aesthetic is excellent too. Everything from the UI to the colors and costume design and the way you have an entire DOS mechanic to access things like cheats and other models is awe-inspiring, contrasted with today's plentiful low-effort big-budget games. Sure, this game wasn't polished, but you can't say they weren't ambitious. What other game has a mode where you play as kung fu fighting taxis? It's charming. Now, what are the best parts of the game? For me, two things. First is playing the highway chase as Ghost, since that's obviously one of the coolest scenes in film history. I mean, really, it's as iconic as the Hoth battle in Empire. Don't even try to contest me. You're wrong. The next best part of this game is exploring the chateau. There is something charming about battling Gothic Rave vampires and werewolves in an elegant piece of architecture. This Creatures of the Night element always mystified the chateau more for me, and it made it a place of dark mythology. It was cool and spooky. It's respectable how this game's goal was to elaborate on the world and lore of the Matrix, rather than make a low poly playable replica of the movies. We did eventually get that, kind of, but that's a story for a whole other video. This seems like an artist experimenting with an idea that unfortunately is not working out the way they hoped, and I can empathize with that. This game's short and sweet, taking maybe 8 hours total for both campaigns, and as a reward for surviving the jank, you even get some evanescence at the end credits. Pretty cool. I wonder how much of the budget that ate up. Many animations make you look like a jackass, there's tank controls, spawn points are questionable, fall damage is broken. Needless to say, the game was poorly received. Despite that, Enter the Matrix managed to sell 5 million units and was succeeded by Path of Neo. Even with a beefy budget, it's amazing how this game still managed to get rushed, just to meet their deadline, which was the release date of Reloaded. Just imagine if this game had another year or so in the oven. I'm not sure how true this is, but when I was researching for this video, I read somewhere that the Wachowskis originally spoke with Konami about publishing the game and having it worked on by none other than Hideo Kojima? Could you imagine that? If true, this is probably the most tragic piece of the game's history, because with Kojima's Midas touch, this could have potentially been one of the best games ever made. In another world, this game could have been like Max Payne with good kung fu mechanics or something. The capacity to enjoy a video game depends on the lens you choose to view the experience from. If you take this game for what it is, as a fan of the franchise, there is fun to be found. If you walk into this game expecting the quality and value of a AAA game with good replayability and polish, you'll be sorely disappointed. If you embrace the jank and find a way to have fun with it, you can enjoy any game, except Metal Gear Survive. Thank you for watching, and stay janky.